think it's
Okay,
me.
cool. Perfect. Let's get to it then.
Um,
Yo, what's up, world? How you feeling, Sporty?
I'm feeling good. How about you?
Good. I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Doing good. Definitely happy to be back in front of this camera with you for sure. It's been a long time coming.
Oh, it's been a long time. I'm
I
back
know,
though.
I know the world done miss seeing you for sure. So it's definitely good to see you for sure. Definitely good to see you.
Yes, sir. I'm glad to be back. I'm glad to see everyone. So yeah.
Perfect. So really quick, world. With me and Sporty, want to give you guys just a little bit of insight, right? Because this episode that we're actually going to dive into here in a second is going to tie into what I'm about to tell you guys, right? Um, with life comes journeys, it comes different experiences, it comes people that you meet, right? And throughout life, I've come across some amazing people. And Sporty is one of those people. So having common interest in certain things like podcasting and just being innovative and growing as people has brought us together. But then, life comes into play and you have to take a step back from things. So that's what we did. In our own respective rights, we took a step back from something that was our passion, that is our passion, I should say. But we didn't skip a beat within ourselves or our relationship. But we both knew on our own personal journeys that we had to put a little pause on things. And we knew when the time would be right. And it's just so funny that we both got back to it at the same exact time without even talking about it. You know what I mean? Like without even discussing it. So I want to take this time out to say, I appreciate you. Thank you for everything you've done, just who you are as a person, just the genuine interactions, and going to the fair and City of Palms, and just everything that we do. The relationship I have with your family and vice versa. It's really refreshing, right? Because those things throughout life really help you with your mental.
Hmm.
And in the world, that was one thing that I wanted to share with you guys before we rolled into this episode. We are going to be discussing mental health. Yes, this month is Men's Mental Health Awareness Month, but we're going to talk about mental health across the board with everybody, all genders, all races, all walks of life, all religions, because at the end of the day, we all have a brain and we all have emotions. And those two together can either make for a great story or for a crazy one. You know what I mean, Sporty? So, um, mentally, how are you feeling?
I'm good. You all know I went through a long journey with my knee. I did go down this year with my knee, but I have a great support system in CAS that helped me along the way. So I just want to thank everybody for their kind words and remarks.
Yes, 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 for sure. Um, and it could be something as small as um, you got to get a new tire because your tire went down, or it could be something as large as having to go to physical therapy and things like that, dealing with um, your body changing, and that that can affect your mental for sure. At one point in time, you was handling a rock, playing basketball, doing your thing. You know what I mean? Running up and down the court. And for some people, they absorb those moments so much that it really becomes them, and they have a hard time dealing with the after fact or aftermath of life if it doesn't go as planned. So, to your point, your support system, they have to be A1. You know what I mean? It has to be genuine. It has to be something where they don't want any beneficial gain. You know what I mean? So I'm happy to hear that you push through and you were very persistent with getting to the end goal, which is being able to move around like how you want to. You know what I mean? And that's all. That's all your mental. You could be going
Right.
through a rough moment, but still stay positive. That's fine. The silver lining. And same for me. First episode I touched base on with the people, and I kind of gave them a little bit of insight. Just what a lot of things are going on. This year has been really crazy for me. Losing a lot of people, 6 or 7 people I've lost a transition on. Um, Kind of experiencing some different changes and stuff at work, trying to see what's there, out there for me, what fits for me. Being in a different space now mentally is something that I've kind of focused on as far as work goes. Like, am I mentally in the right environment now? Because I'm not the same person I was 15 years ago. You know what I mean? And then also with the birth of Zayden, aka Deuce, it has been refreshing. It has given me a sense of purpose for sure. So this year for me has just been like one big circle because I'm not stopping, but I'm also still progressing. But the things that I'm experiencing are bringing me back full circle. So
Hmm.
that's where the circle comes in at. Still moving forward, but everything I'm experiencing is just like, man, this is humbling. Man, I'm happy I went through this, even though it kind of broke me down. Like I took the message from it. You know what I mean? So really want people to be in that space where they know how to subside their emotions and know how to block out the other things that are not really necessary to focus on
Hmm.
and focus on the end goal. You know what I mean? So that's how I feel mentally. But overall, I'm great. You know what I mean? I'm over here burning the camera with you, and you know, everything is good. Got the Christmas decorations up. You know,
I
it's
see you got the Christmas tree. So I
yeah.
look, he's the one that puts it up right after Halloween. So we good.
Yes, yes. November 2nd, my Christmas tree was up. I'm not done yet. It's only like 50% done, but I got a little scenery back here. I can't see it. But yes, Christmas tree is up, and I am very excited. I feel like this this holiday season is going to be a little different because we have gone through so much as just not just a community, but just as a country, right? Like
Mhm.
we are so divided yet united at one. It's not even funny, and I just feel like this is that one season where everybody can just focus on the good, you know, focus on the gift
Mhm.
if you can. And it's not about the gifts, because I know I don't want nothing. I'm not expecting anything, but it's just the vibes and energy of everybody kind of saying, you know what, we've made it to the holiday season. Let's cherish it. So
Mhm.
that's really why I did it. You know, just trying to get in good spirits. But all in all, with even with that, even with the mental health, there's so many different things that we could touch base on. So I do want to dive right into it, Sporty. I'm not gonna lie to you. Just like the personal side of it, we both gave our personal aspects on where we're at mentally. But my question for you is how do you recognize when you're not okay?
So for me, sometimes I just shut down, uh, get a little overwhelmed, and I have to take a break from life.
Yeah.
And it's not against anybody. Sometimes I look and see my phone ring. Sometimes I see a text. I just have to set back because I'm known as a strong friend. I always have been. But the strong friend is not allowed to take breaks. They're not allowed to see their phone ring.
Right.
So when you shut the world off, it's like, dang, you can't pick up the phone. Dang, you can't do this. But it's no offense to anyone. Sometimes people just need a break. So for
Right.
me, when I need that break, I take it.
Yeah.
And I have a strong support system. So whether I'm talking to someone or not, I'm mentally getting myself back to where I want to be.
Right.
And I'm a person who don't express what I'm going through, so a lot of people don't know. But I'm human. So
Right.
I step back and do a reset, and then I come back.
Oh, for
So
sure.
that's how I. How about you?
Um, I have this thing with myself where whenever it's kind of like a routine. It's kind of weird. But one of my therapists actually gave me this formula to help me recognize when I'm not okay and how to act on it immediately without even recognizing I'm acting on it. So for me, any type of change or anything I'm going through, it's like a feeling I get in my spirit. Like that initial go with your gut feeling, I always go with my gut feeling,
Hmm.
always go with it, right? So, but in the space of just not like knowing I'm not okay, I become very consumed in my thoughts. I become very um, busy. I guess you
Hmm.
could say like, oh, let me deep clean, let me get into the crevices and nooks and crannies of things. To the further I go into it, the more I'm taking myself away from what I'm going through. You know what I mean? So when I get to that point, um, versus my natural, oh, okay, let me clean, let me sweep, let me mop, let me vacuum, all that stuff. It's now let me pull everything out this closet, let me pull everything from out of these drawers, and then like I get to that point, if I'm rearranging my whole entire kitchen, it's like, am I okay? It's not spring cleaning time. What am I doing? So I become very, very busy for sure. And that's because my brain is telling me I have a lot going on up here. So
Hmm.
my body just starts moving. So I kind of slow this down up here. So um, yeah, that's really been me. Just growing up, I've always noticed. Because at one point in time, to be very honest with you, I used to be a busybody just in the sense of just being like athletic in sports, moving around, games, practices, and stuff. So I think from transitioning from that lifestyle to the more, okay, I'm in my career, I'm more routine versus flying off the hip type of thing. Um, how does my brain process certain things being that I move differently from my day to day? You know, being an
Hmm.
adult, yes, but your childhood activities and experiences could play a role in how you handle things now. So at one point in time, I was gonna play basketball when I was stressed. Now I still play basketball. Thankfully, I'm back into the fitness world, but at one point in time, I wasn't. So how was I handling that stress then? You know what I mean? So,
Mhm.
um, yeah, that's really it for me, to be honest with you. You know what I mean? And we're going to touch base on childhood trauma and how that plays a role in your upbringing, your development for sure. We're definitely going to touch base on that. But I have another question for you because
Mhm.
once again, I've seen you in a while, so I just kind of want to
It's
pick your
all.
brain a little bit. Um, when it comes to setting boundaries,
Mhm.
everyone has this notion of setting boundaries means something bad. I'm setting a boundary so you can't do anything past this point to hurt me or to get to me, right?
Mhm.
Um, how do you have you ever been in a position where you've set healthy boundaries? Um, in a sense of, I'll give you an example. Um, I'm only going to be around people that are self-motivating, you know, and
Oh yeah.
versus saying I'm not going to tolerate that. Have you ever said I'm only going to tolerate that? Have you ever set a healthy boundary for yourself? And if you have, what did that look like?
Well, I try to surround myself with people who pour into me, and also that I can pour into them. Um, I can't be around somebody that's always has problems, a Debbie Downer. It's just not me. But I think the old folks used to say, just keep living.
Yep, yep.
And I just, you know, I think boundaries set their self. So
Okay.
you show people how to treat you. If I tolerate different things from someone, they're going to keep doing it. But if
Right,
I set that boundary when it's done, then they know not to play with me.
right,
And I'm
right.
allowed to have boundaries. I'm allowed to say, I don't want to be your friend no more. I'm allowed to say what you did was wrong.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's like it's a difference in, getting mad when people set boundaries, and then um it's like you mad because I put a boundary on myself and now you reacting to it. But boundaries come with anybody. And I've always set boundaries for myself. And if you don't like it, let's discuss it. But if we can't discuss it, let's move on. I just keep it like that.
No, that makes perfect sense. That makes perfect sense for sure. And I like the point that you made as far as boundaries, like boundaries setting themselves. Um, I agree with you, but that also boils down to the person that is in the situation. I feel like if you're that type of person that is assertive and people know that you are not a no nonsense person, yeah, those boundaries are going to set themselves and they're going to sustain themselves as well. But if you are someone that lets the needle move real easy, oh yeah, your boundaries, people gonna tamper with them all the time. They're not gonna respect you. They're not gonna honor it. Nothing like that. So to your point, I definitely agree. That's like if you come to me and be like, yeah, Josh, no, I'm not doing that. No, I don't want. Okay, perfect. I love it. You know what I mean? I definitely get it for sure. Um, but also at the same time, you also carry yourself in a certain form and fashion where, um, oh yeah, I got you, sporty. I might be able to peep something before you even say it. You know what I mean? So it just boils down to the person. That's really it, honestly. Um, but I would have to agree. I would say setting healthy boundaries, it becomes more fluid when you are in a space where you are at peace and you're comfortable with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you have to be in a place of a place of peace to even think healthy thoughts. So you have to be 100% comfortable with yourself. Whatever it is you're going through, you have to understand that you're gonna get through it. You got a plan to get through it. You got a way to get through it, or something, right? Because it has to be peaceful. Um, but then also you might have to be a little assertive, and you're only going to be assertive to the people that you have in your life whose peace is still disturbed. Because if you're talking to me and you're telling me exactly what you want to do with yourself as far as being peaceful goes, oh, I'm going to encourage you. I'm going to push you to do it. I'm going to give you more ways to be even more peaceful. Now, if you come to me and you like, you know what, Josh, I'm done drinking. If we go out, I just want to just have mocktails. And I'm like, for what? Like, you can't have a drink on the weekend. You work all week. If I'm pushing that back on you, that's because I'm still disturbed. You know what I mean? And then on the flip side, there's also a way of pushing too much positivity on the wrong person. If someone isn't ready to receive that and you're like, yeah, you should stop drinking, they're going to take that as you trying to tell them what to do or be controlling. So it has everything to do with the mindset. That's what, and how you perceive things, but also how you communicate as well. It's a two-way street.
I definitely was gonna say communication wise, because a lot of times we can come off a little strong or authoritative, and so you don't want to do that with any relationship that you have. But at the same time, you want to show, hey, this is a boundary that you have to accept.
Yes, yes, I definitely agree. I definitely agree with you. One thing I wanted to touch base on, in conjunction to setting boundaries, would be dealing with anxiety, because as we talk about mental health, a lot of people don't know that they have anxiety, and a lot of people don't know how to deal with it when they figure out or find out that they do. Because a lot of people can't tell when you have anxiety if you're just excited or if you're anxious. Like
Mhm.
it's so close in feeling. But with the way that the world is right now, I would say that the world is very fast paced. Would you agree? Like we're just in the space right now. If you're not keeping up with what's going on in the world, you're behind. From technology to the news, everything, politics, everything is moving so fast, and I feel like that's going to trigger a lot of anxiety for some people. You get on the news, or you turn the TV, and so much is going on in another country you've never been to, but so much is going on over here. So much is going on in your personal life. So much is going on at work. It's just so much, and anxiety is definitely a leading factor of any type of depression, I guess you can say, right? That's like the beginning of it. You start feeling anxious. When you start feeling anxious, that feeling takes over you because you don't know what it is, and then you just kind of sit in it, and then you
Mhm.
sit in it so much that you become depressed and you become those emotions. So, um, what are some things that you do to help you stay balanced in this world that we live
I pray. The number one thing for me is prayer. And I have a great outlet of people that I talk to. Like I said, my friends and family are my everything. So for me, church and my friends, and I also my hobbies, which include things that better me or make me safe and secure. Also, not saying that I'm perfect. So I have friends who, going through some things. So I'm there with them as well. And we encourage each other to be great. So, you go through stuff, but you get through stuff. And then at the same time, I always surround myself with affirmations. So that is me. I am an affirmation girl. I have it all over my wall, all everywhere in my house. I just look around and I see it at my work, anywhere. I just see words of affirmation to steady keep going, because this world is a crazy place. And I always tell people what works for you. And so for me, whatever keeps you going, whatever hobby you like, and I never down anybody's hobby. I never talk about, it just not be for me. But I can't bowl, but I go with you to bowl if you want to bowl. Just teach me. I'm gonna give you back two turns and I'm gonna sit down. But just find something that's fun for you and enjoyable. And I always find a good church home, and I have a good church home in my hometown as well as where I am now. So, and then I surround myself with people in the church as well, that I can call and say, hey, let's pray. So, those are the kind of factors that I use. So what about yourself?
in. That is a good question. I would say prayer for sure. Um, but outside of prayer, and I'm going to say this, and I have a story, because I had someone who made a comment to me based off of my first episode, and they told me that all I needed was Christ. I was talking about different forms and outlets and things that I could do as far as just releasing, reforming, reconnecting, realigning, all of that stuff. I per se did not mention God or Christ or anything of that in my speech when I was talking, but I also didn't mention anything that would make you think that I did not um, have God as the leading factor of my life, right?
Mm.
So he was like, "Man, you tripping, dude? What, you doing drugs or something? All you need is Christ." Well, I know, true enough, I didn't mention Christ. I didn't mention God. I didn't mention anything of that nature. But everything that I mentioned was things that my religion and my belief and my faith has put me in the space to be able to go and find, versus going to go to the liquor store, or versus going to go do hard drugs, or versus to go and do anything that might put me in danger. So yes, Christ is the leading factor, but me having such a strong belief in God has instilled the discipline in me to say, you know what, I just prayed about it, I left it with God, I'm about to go to the gym.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like that's where I'm at, versus saying, man, I prayed about it, but I'm still about to sit here and worry. Oh, I'm worrying so much, I'm about to go buy me a bottle. You know what I mean? Like, you really have to put those things into perspective. So yes, forefront, very first thing, pray 100%. No matter how I feel, sit down, stand up, whatever. Thank you, God, for giving me the breath and body to be able to go through this experience. Thank you for giving me the wisdom and the strength to be able to push through. And thank you for granting me the clarity of being humble. So when I get through it, I remember where I came from. Boom, right there, good to go. Now it's straight to the execution. What am I going to do to fix it? Or what am I going to do to clear my mind and be able to get to my end goal? You know what I mean? It's one of those things. And as a man, um, especially a man that stands on his own, I don't have time to sit in my feelings and cry.
Right.
So my prayer is efficient, it's effective, it's to the point. God hear me. I ain't gonna bug him too much, because he want to see me do my work. I got to meet him halfway. You know what I mean? So yes, I definitely pray, but at the same time, once I pray, I put my boots on the ground and I get to it.
But you just said something to me that stood out like a sore thumb. You just said, as a man, I can't sit and cry and wait. Why do men feel like that?
Because when you can process your emotions, deal with them, but the waiting part, that waiting part is the part that's gonna get you hung up. Go through your emotions, recognize them. I guess I should have said I can't sit around and dwell, because you can cry, you can definitely cry. You just can't sit around after you cry.
Mm-hmm.
You can't sit around after you cry. And yes, I'm speaking for the man, but that can go for anybody, because you could be the only person in your situation holding the fort down. So you can't do it either. You could be a woman. So yes, you can cry. Recognize your feelings, embrace them, go through it. But then as soon as you go through it, hey, all right, here we are. You know what I mean? So yes, you can cry. You just can't dwell in it. You can't dwell in it, because the world's gonna keep on going. And unfortunately, that's one thing that gets a lot of people hung up, is they think that the world should stop for them because they're going through something, or they were not exposed to certain experiences in life. So now that life has given them things that they never experienced before, they don't know how to handle it. There's a lot of different factors and things like that that can trigger someone to be in that space. So I really think the space of recognizing your emotions is vital, because you don't know why you feel the way you feel. If you're not in tune with it, if you're not in tune with yourself, Sporty, and you feel a certain type of way, you might not know exactly why you feel that way if you're not truly in tune with who you are as a person.
But I feel like people are entitled to feel how they feel. I feel like you can't tell people how to feel in that moment. So you may take it differently, but they may not. So the way they react is their reaction. So I never get mad at how people react.
Real. That's a good take. That's a good take. That really is. Because a lot of people don't know how to separate the two. So, and speaking of separating the two, that's actually a good point that you just made. You hit it right on the head. Because learning how to separate anything when it comes to mental health is huge, right? So we're both grown adults, and we've been on this earth for X amount of days, X amount of minutes, X amount of seconds, and we've experienced things from our childhood up to now. How much of your childhood do you think helps you, and how much of your childhood do you think hinders you and who you are today?
I think all of my childhood helps me. I think I I just think going through and how I was raised instilled different things in me. And that's why I look for people that are equally yoked. So for me, my childhood, I enjoyed it. It was fun. I grew from it. I experienced different things. When I got to college, I met people who had a different childhood than I did. We still clicked on that level, because we wanted the same end goal. High school, same thing. But I think your childhood prepares you. Now, whether your childhood is you saw love or you saw survival, that's a difference too. So whether you're made to survive or whether you're made to love, and a lot of times people confuse the two and they get mad at the person who didn't have to survive, who was just built out of love, and vice versa. But yeah, I think my childhood plays 100% in everything that I do. But I don't use that as an excuse, and that's a big one. If you're using the excuses to say, "Oh, this is why I act like this, and this is why I act like that," no, no, you grown. That's just you know what I'm saying. So it's adaptability too, as well.
Yes, yes, yes. That's a word. That's a word for sure. And I'll say for myself, um, I've never used my childhood as an excuse for anything I've done because I didn't have the most traditional childhood, being
Hmm.
raised by my parents and all that good stuff. Like my grandparents stepped in and did an amazing job, and I love them to this day. And that's my mom and my dad, even though I recognize who my biological parents are. That did not hinder me any type of way. I think for me, growing up with my grandparents put me in a space where I learned how to appreciate, what's the word? I don't want to say genuine people because I mean old people aren't only genuine people, but it really taught me how to be in a space where you cherish the moments. That's what I'm gonna go with. Yes, growing up with older people because as I was a kid, I was around 50-year-old people. You know, as a kid, and those
Hmm.
same people are now in their 80s. You know what I mean? So to see they're looking at me like, oh, we seen you grow. No, I seen y'all grow. Like no, like I seen y'all grow to be amazing. Um, Amazing people over the course of time as I grew, right? So my childhood was amazing, even if it has some bumps in the road. Like not growing up with my father, not meeting him till I was like 9, or my mother not raising me and my sisters, but she was around, but she wasn't around. Those things, those are, I don't want to say small potatoes to the big picture, but they are. They're small potatoes to the big picture because I had two grandparents that stepped in and they both were in their careers and they both retired and they both had the time and accessibility to spend with me and my sisters and make sure we were good and always at peer teacher conferences and things of that nature. They taught me the value of hard work. So my childhood definitely it helps me a lot. But what I will say is because I don't want to sound like nothing went wrong. I think for me, one thing I did as a kid was not make excuses, but I always asked why all the time. Why is my mom not around? Why is she come over and she's drunk? She comes over and she's, like trying to fight with us. Or how come my dad not around? Like I always questioned those things. Or like it was just like, how come I'm the only one of my friends that live with their grandparents? Like it was those type of questions. So it was never the excuse. It was always I just want to answer.
That's, that's
I
real.
just want to answer. That's all. So um, healing from my inner child looks like this. It looks like me having a relationship with my biological father now. Um, my son is helping drive that, even though we've connected previous times prior to Zayden being born. Um, he is the driving force for our relationship. I'll send him pictures of him. I'll call and just check in, hey, how you doing? And he understands he's talking to a grown man now. He respects me in that space, right?
Mm.
Feeling my inner child looks like understanding that my biological mother is no longer here physically, and there's things that I could have done differently while she was here, but understanding the bond that we had, I know I'm making her proud. That's what healing my inner child looks like. Healing my inner child looks like understanding that life experiences and things that I experienced, having the best sisters in the world helped me throughout life more than I could imagine. My brother-in-law changed my life and gave me experiences as a kid that I never thought I would experience, going to Florida every year and taking camping trips and stuff. So healing your inner child looks like accepting things and then figuring out a way that the next generation doesn't experience it. And that's what I'm doing with Deuce, making sure that he doesn't experience things that I went through. So with that being said, at this point in time, if you're not healing your inner child, you're just making it as a crutch and an excuse.
Yeah.
That's it, for sure. So, um, but with that being said, I don't want to go off too deep. Um, I definitely feel that someone listening to this episode today, whether they're watching it, listening to it on a podcast apps, or wherever the case may be, they are going to be able to take away from this the willpower from both of us and the determination to always do better than what you did the day before, right? That's one thing I've taken away from you, knowing your story, hearing your success, being in your career, doing an amazing job. It's like, you know what? If you just start and just don't stop, you can get to where you need to go. I talk to somebody all the time that does it. You know what I mean? So I think that's one thing they can take away from this conversation is just start. Whether it's starting your career or starting a fitness journey or starting a new relationship with someone or mending a relationship with someone, just start. Just go. Just
Mm.
go and just do it with positive and do it with positivity and do it with grace.
So, what would you say to someone who is scared to go to therapy, is scared to reach out, someone who wants to, get help, but it's kind of frowned on? How would you handle that?
The first question I would ask them as someone that has indulged in physical that has indulged in therapy, I would ask them if you were 100% honest with yourself,
Mm.
because that's the biggest thing for me. When you go to therapy, you have to be honest, and if someone is not in favor of it or doesn't think it works or whatever the case may be, we hear the sayings, you're not honest with yourself. Are you 100% honest with yourself to go and talk to a stranger and tell them the honest to God truth, even if it makes you uncomfortable? And if you are, therapy is the place for you. If you're not, you need to talk to God a little bit more and do some more soul searching before you go and talk to another human. The human, talking to the human is after you talk to God. After you go through that part, after you sitting in your room on the floor and you crying because you accepting what you really did as a person, whether it was good, bad, or indifferent, and you telling yourself like, yeah, I messed up. This is where I fell short. Once you get to that point where you are accountable for yourself within, that's God right there. Then you can go to the therapist. Don't go to the therapist first. That's a waste of time. You got to check yourself at the door before you go inside that office. And check yourself at the door is getting right within. And if you don't do that, that therapist is not going to help you because you're going to go in there and you're going to start lying. You're going to start lying. That's what you're going to do. You're going to start fabricating some stuff. So, I would. That's really how I feel.
I feel like that's great advice. I would also say that, like you said before, do it. A lot of times we're scared, and we're scared to be judged. So a lot of times you say, you don't go to therapy, you go to church. No, I need to go to therapy. I need to talk to somebody, and it's okay to go to therapy. It's okay to go to church also. Whatever outlet you need. It's a lot of hotlines that you can choose. It's a lot of hotlines that you can call any time of day, 24/7. If you're going through something, talk to somebody, reach out, because a lot of times you hold so much stuff in that you burst. And then you're looking around like, Lord, help me. But in that moment, you feel like you have no one because no one knows. And of course, you say there's signs and things like that. But, you know, just be open to get help and be open to reach out to someone for help. Always listening ear available to you.
I agree. I agree. That's a word. That's a word. You have to be situationally aware within your own life to know what spaces that you need to be in and who you need to call. I know if I'm really in a situation and I really need to talk, not financial, but I know if I really need to talk and I'm really going through something, I know I can call you. I know I'm gonna get solid, genuine sound advice. I know if you're busy, you're gonna make time for me. I know. I just know. You know what I mean? So, okay, I'm starting to panic. All right, I need to talk to somebody. I know so and so busy. Let me call Sporty.
Hmm.
I already know when I pick up that phone. I know what I'm getting. So I'm already starting to calm down already. Like, okay, she might not be able to like literally help me in this situation, but she can talk me through it, and I'll take that for whatever it is. You know what I mean? So, um, I really think, like you say, just having that support system. I know you said it a couple times this episode. That's kind of stuck with me right now because I need to start recognizing a little bit more in tune the support system I have because I always tell myself, oh man, since my sister's passed, things aren't the same or things are just different. Yeah, they are, but that doesn't mean they're necessarily different in a bad way. The support is still there. It just looks a little different now, and you have to learn how to adjust to it. Or I've had people come into my life and meet new people and different people, and they might have been a little bit more loyal than someone I've known since I was in grade school. So it really just depends. But you have to recognize the situation you're in. You really have to recognize them for sure, because you might run into Joe Blow because you've been knowing Joe Blow since kindergarten, but Joe Blow might be the one that's caused you to feel this way. You're not even recognizing it because y'all so locked in, right? Crazy enough to believe that. Like it's one of those things. So, like it's for sure.
Well, I tell people all the time, and when people call me and they want to talk, sometimes it's best to listen as well. And sometimes I let people vent about what's going on because sometimes people just need to get it out. So a listening ear half the time can solve it. But I do have different friends for different reasons. And every friend that I have feeds into me for different reasons. And I know which friend to call in that moment. I have a friend that will pull up. I have a friend that will say, calm down. I have a friend that said, breathe. I have a friend that say, let's take a walk. I have a friend that say, let's joke. So all of my friends are aligned with me and all of my friends know me, you know, and I try to call who I need in that moment, but also check in with my friends. Hey, how's your day going? Just thinking about you. Some days I'm going through stuff and I have a complete stranger send me a message. Hey, Sporty Shorty, I just watch your videos. I just love it. And I'm going through something and I'm still motivating someone. So, for me, mental health is big for me to be who I need to be. If I'm not okay, I can't function and I can't be better for those around me. So that's why I separate. Doesn't have to do anything with me being a Sagittarius or nothing like that. I just had to separate myself to be better for the next person because, I've worked on myself a lot and I used to just go pop off, boom. But I have to calm down, release, and I worked on that as well because everything doesn't need a reaction. And I had to learn that in my mental health journey as well. So it's a growing process. And also you become a better person and people want to surround themselves by you and with you. And I try to live my life to where I make my parents proud. And I'm always making everyone around me proud. I don't want people to say, Danielle got a nasty attitude and stuff like that. I just, and I'm not perfect. Some days I'm not, I could be better, but just like, Lord, keep working on me and don't take your hand off of me. So, that's just how I look at things.
Yes, that last part was a word. Keep working on me and don't take your hands off of me. If people said that more with a intentional meaning behind it, like how you just did, I promise you, people would be more at peace. And that's a big part of it. A lot like that peace. Like yes, it's just a 5 letter word, or just being in tune with yourself or being locked in. Because that's the term nowadays everybody's using is lock in, lock in, lock in. When you say you're locked in, this is a question I have for the people. I'm gonna look directly at the camera. When you guys are saying you're locked in, I want to know. I'm not saying this to be funny. I'm saying this as an educational piece. I want to know what some people mean when they say lock in or I'm locked in, because locking in is not just about focusing on something heavily. No, like you can focus on something if you take an Adderall. Like if you got ADD or something. Okay, so you locked me in now because you can't stop reading this book. Like yes,
Hmm.
you are, but in a different space. Locking in is becoming in tune with yourself. Locking in is understanding the flaws that you have as well as the great characteristic traits that you have. Locking in is understanding how you as a person impact this world. That's what locking in is. And then locking in is taking all of that, putting it on a nice little plate, and serving it to the world, saying, hey, this is who I am. I'm Joshua Smiley. I know who I am. I walk in confidence. I walk in grace. And if it's something about me that disturbs you, it's not me, it's you. That
I get that, but like I said before, locking in can mean something different to somebody else as well. So, like you said, what does the meaning of locking in mean to you? So, you just gave your definition. So, somebody else's definition may be different now. So, when people say I'm locked in, whatever that means to you and keep you going, just stay locked in. I don't want to know how you locked in. Just be locked in and just do what you do. But, for me, I just take people as they are. And some people aren't there in their mental health journey, and I help them every day. I'm here, I'm here, I'm here. Sometimes that's all we need. Sometimes people just need a hug. Sometimes people just need a smile. Hey, how you doing? Nobody talked to me for a week. How it's just do your part in what you doing in your walk with Christ, and it'll Lord bless you. I believe that.
yes, yes, I agree. Yes, yes, you hit it around the head too, because yes, what I was saying, yes, describing my definition, of locking in, yes, that was my definition,
Hmm.
yes. So that's why I asked, like, what's everyone? That's something I really want to know. I really want to know when you tell yourself you're locking in, what do you do? What does that process look like? You don't just say it, and that's why I gave what I do when I lock in. So yes, to your point, it looks different for everybody. It does, and that's the cool thing. I'm saying we're cool, but that's the blessing to it all is that word. It has such a powerful meaning, but it looks different for everybody. But everybody's getting to the same end result, even though the result looks different. You know what I mean?
So what do you say to people who can't lock in right now with everything going on in the world? How would you encourage them to be better?
You have to. I'm not going to say what I want to say because the running joke is what I'm not going to do is skip a day. Taking it one day at a time. That's if you're living and you wake up every day, you have no choice but to do that. You can't skip Tuesday, right? So for people that can't lock in, I don't try to give them my form and version of what locking in is. I try to ask them questions to help them find their version of it because everybody can do it. It's just you might be a little clouded up here with past due bills. Your apartment complex might be putting some notices on your door. Uh, your baby mama, baby daddy might not be on your side because you ain't bought no summer like or nothing. So you can lock in. It's just clouded up here, so you can't focus on locking in. So here I
Mhm.
come. Hey, what you got going on? Okay, if you can prioritize everything you got going on from 1 to 10, go ahead and do it for me. Okay, so if you got this here number one, why is this number one? You start asking questions, you start peeling those layers back. And before you know it, you've taken this person's situation and you've genuinely opened it up and you've broke it down for them so they know how to navigate through it. So now it's okay, look, you got all these problems right here, but now you have a solution for them. The problem is people aren't solution oriented and they come to you with a problem. You ever talk to somebody and said, Sporty, I got this problem, and they tell you the problem, and they just stop. That's what it is. Don't tell me your problem. Tell me how we could possibly fix it too. You know what I mean? So, with that being said, it's just one of those. It's just that type of situation for sure. Like, have a well balanced attack with it. A well balanced approach, not attack. We're going to speak with positive terms for sure. So yeah.
Well, I had the problem come to me about the problem. But sometimes people talk to you and you be like, baby, you the problem. You just sometimes you got to call a spade a spade. Now, some of y'all need to work on y'all self for real because accountability is a part of mental health as well. And I'm guilty of it. We all guilty of it. Sometimes we be going out there, we say, I should have chilled, I should have calmed down. I did the most in that situation. I did. But you have to be able to take accountability of whatever that you do.
Yes, you hit it right on the head, Sporty. I'm over here in tears right now. Accountability is the other side to this as well. Like everything we saying now, y'all, accountability is right there. It's literally right there. It's right next to perseverance, determination, prayer. It's right next to communication. It's right next to recognizing your support system. Accountability is right there. You have to be accountable for your actions. You have to be accountable for the actions around you because you dictate and determine whose energy is around
Hmm.
you.
So can you talk about what your shirt mean and like the meaning behind it, please?
Yes, yes, yes. That is a great question. So, for everybody that has been rocking with us and been on the journey since February 2023, when my beautiful sister transitioned to eternity, EYMF are her initials, and her name is Ebony Yvonne McNeil Fowler. May you continue to rest in peace, beautiful. But I took her name and I made an acronym out of it, which stands for Elevate Your Mind and Faith. So EYMF, Elevate Your Mind and Faith. I feel that. Um, Let me back up. When I was preparing to give a speech for my sister's funeral, I was sitting down in my niece's room and we were both going back and forth with putting our speeches together because I spoke and then my baby niece spoke. And we were just going back and forth, just trying to push through as best we could to put together this speech because it was something that was really hard. And I was just thinking, I was like really trying to think about my sister's life. And I was like, yo, she had such an impact on me, but why? I had to ask myself, I'm like, why does she have it? Like, I've never thought about that. That was just big sis. Like, love you, sis. Hey, what up, Ed? And at that moment, I said, why did she have such an impact on me? Why did I love her so much? Why did she mean so much to me? Why did we have such a great relationship? And I said, I seen her elevate her mind and faith. I seen her grow into a woman of God. I seen her grow into a woman of perseverance. I seen her grow into the family manager. You know what I mean? Jokingly, like I seen her grow into that. But she had to elevate her mind and faith to go from a 2 bedroom house to a 3 bedroom house to a little baby mansion out in Iowa to, I just seen her grow to come back home to Elgin to get another little big size house. Like I just kept seeing her and her husband and family elevate, and everything that they did, it got better and better with it. And that was elevating her mind and faith. the closer she got to God, the more she opened up her mind to other things outside of her norm, other things outside of things that she accepted. She received more blessings. So I was sitting there writing that speech, and I was like, she elevated her mind and faith. And I started looking at the name. Like, I didn't piece it together on purpose because her name, and then I tried to figure out an acronym. The acronym came, and I noticed it was her name. So it was one of those moments I was like, oh, wow, this is crazy. So when I gave the speech at her funeral, I said, elevate your mind and faith about 5 or 6 times in the speech. And I kept saying it, I kept saying it so that people would listen and catch on. And I was saying it just like this. It got to a point where I said, Ebony Yvonne McNeil Fowler elevated her mind and faith. And that's why she's resting with God right now. And you've seen the light bulb turn on in everybody's head once I said her name, and then to elevate your mind and faith. And everybody was like, and it was that was it. So long story short, this is definitely my life. This is the driving force that helps me stay mentally sane. Losing my sister was a huge blow for me, but I'm in a great space right now. I'm in a space where I can talk about it and smile. We can talk about the memories, the good and the bad. We argued probably 3 or 4 times in our entire existence. Everything else was nothing but love. I could say that with a smile on my face because the impact that she had on me, I know that there is nobody else on this earth that will love me the way that she did. And for me, that's a blessing. Like, I'm blessed to be able to say that my sister loved me so much that nobody else will. Not saying nobody else will love me, but not the way she did. And I'm blessed to be able to call her my sister. So this is my way of keeping her name alive. Her favorite color is purple. And that's what we're going to be rocking with. So I appreciate you rocking the EYMF as well. I definitely appreciate it for sure. And this is just for anybody. These initials can go for anybody who you've lost and whose name you want to represent. It might not be their name initials, but this isn't about her name initial. This is about what she did as a person to impact this world when she was no longer here. And that's where we at with it.
Yeah, that's a beautiful story. And, we all have been through some things, and I'm just happy to share this journey with you, with Elevate Your Mind and Faith, something that we live by every day, and that we grow to see, and I'm glad that you came into my life, through podcasting, actually. So, everybody's, in your life for a reason. I believe that. And, mental health is a struggle every day for everyone, during hard times and everything. So, yeah, it's a good topic and, wonderful to talk about.
Yes, I agree. Yeah. Now we definitely connected through podcasting, and now we family for real. I am. I tell people all the time, I am a fan turned family because I am such a fan of your work. I will always be a fan of your work. I will always be a fan of you just as a person. But when you get in front of that camera, Sporty, I feel like I've learned so much from you. Um, and I've taken so many things from you, implemented it into my style just because of the way you do some things. And that's the real testament to being humble in life is when you can let other people's growth impact your growth. You know what I mean? So with that being said, let's keep rocking out. Keep being you. Keep being you. Keep being great, but also keep being true. You know what I mean? Because that's what the world needs.
Well, he said it best, y'all. So on that note, I'm gonna let Smiley take it out. So without further ado,
Hey, world, at the end of the day, no matter what you're going through, up, down, or stagnant, always elevate your mind and faith, y'all. With that being said, me and Sporty, we back, y'all. Y'all gonna see us on y'all phone screens, computer screens, TV screens, wherever it may be. Just remember, when y'all see us, y'all getting nothing but good vibes and good energy, y'all. Elevate your mind and faith. Until next time.
peace.